Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome. This is going to be a short video compared to usually my hour-long live videos, and the lighting's really intense, so apparently I'm just super shining, super bright today. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to hop on and say, shit is getting real, guys. There's no, the awakening's happening. We can't deny the vibration on the planet. We have to admit all of our faults. We have to confront our deepest fears. We have to confront our ego and our attachments. We have to wake up. I mean, there's literally no other way to say it other than the awakening is here. It's happening, and you can't escape it. So I wanted to hop on and say shit's getting real, because it is. And it's really important that we kind of tune in with ourselves in every moment, because we are constantly being inundated with lies, with projection, with obligation, with attachment. And one of the biggest things that I want to mention to all of you is, what do you tolerate? What are you tolerating right now in your life? And tolerate is the word that I want to use for that, okay? And the reason why is because there's so many aspects of our life that are beautiful and amazing, and it's easy to love life when life is easy. But it's really difficult to love life and love yourself in those moments when life gets really tough. And what I tend to find is when we don't want to wake up, if we don't want to be conscious, if we don't want to love ourselves, then we go back to the autopilot programming. We just go back to that natural state, that easy state of being, and we go back to tolerating things like a job that doesn't serve you, tolerating things like friends who disrespect you, tolerating things like family members who are super negative and bring you down, okay? So we have to let go of what we are tolerating at this time, because I will literally promise you guys that if you don't let go of what you're tolerating, it will be taken away from you. You are the universe. You have these plans in motion to live your best life. Do you want to live your best life, or do you want to continue to make choices that are easy and do things that you tolerate? Right? Just be really complacent about life rather than take charge and ask yourself what life you really want to be living. And so we get caught in this cycle of playing the victim, and we get caught in this cycle of not loving ourselves, and we get caught in the cycle of, it's you against the world. You need to start realizing that you are the world. You are the only thing that put you here. You are the only thing that put those challenges in front of you. And you can't get away from the challenges. You can't get away from the triggers. If you try and get away from them, then you're suppressing them. Then you're disowning yourself, right? The number one thing that you can do at this time is confront all aspects of life, good, bad, and ugly. And by confronting it in a way that you can understand why it's happening and why you created it in your life, that's where you transmute the things that no longer serve you. You transmute them. You don't suppress them. You don't distract yourself from them. You don't convince yourself that it's something else other than what it is. You accept it in that moment. And through accepting it and understanding what lesson you're learning and why it's happening in your life, you can actually change the entirety of that challenge just by perceiving it a different way. The fifth dimension isn't about rainbows and butterflies and lollipops, okay? It is, it can be, right? But essentially the fifth dimension is about having the conscious awareness to make a choice. Not necessarily making a choice of the red pen or the blue pen, red pill or blue pill. It's not necessarily that choice that I'm talking about. It's the choice of perception. Shit's gonna happen to you every day. We're still living in this godforsaken third dimension, very dense sort of reality. We're still living here. We can't get away from the body that we need to feed or the email that we need to send. But ultimately, you can view life a different way. That's the choice that I'm talking about. How do you perceive the world around you? Are you playing the victim? Most likely, yeah. And we all do. We have been programmed to play the victim. We have been programmed to feel like we have no control within our reality. We have been programmed to give our power away to the powers that be, whether that be the education system, the religious system, your boss, the financial system, your family, right? Sometimes the hardest thing to realize is that we give ourselves away to the people that we love the most. And that's the trap that we get involved in. We're not aware of how much we're giving our power away. If you define yourself as a mother or a brother or a lawyer or a doctor or a tree cutter, you're pigeonholing yourself to just that one reality. If you open up yourself and say, I am a new person, I am a new being, I redefine myself in every single moment, then you will live as free as possible. And no, you're not abandoning any responsibilities that you have as a mother or a tree cutter or a hairstylist or what have you. You're not abandoning those roles, but you're not choosing to live only by the roles that society has labeled you in. That's what we get caught up in, right? Oh, well, this is what you went to school for. This is what you do for a living. This is who you are. It's interesting because when you meet someone new, one of the first questions they ask you is, what do you do? So what do you do? What do you do for a living? Cool. I used to personally always say, oh, life coach. And then I said psychic because I'm like, screw that. Oh, thank you so much for that super chat. Very, very appreciated. And now I don't even answer the question, oh, what do you do? That's nice. Well, I really love exercising. I love going to the beach. I love meditating and doing Tai Chi, you know? What do you do? I live my life. What do you do? You know? Not what do you do for a living, but who are you really, right? And even that question of who are you? I remember years ago when I was like maybe 20 years old and I was redefining myself. I was in school, in university. And and I had this huge ego death. Like, I'm like, I don't know who I am. I started waking up. I started realizing that there's so much else going on out there in the world. And I had this absolute collapse and said, I don't even know who I am. And I felt like I needed to define myself. Thank you so much, James, for that super chat. I felt like I needed to define myself. Okay, well, I'm a student. Oh, no, I'm an artist. No, that doesn't quite fit. I'm a girl. Who am I? I don't know, right? And I was waiting for this ultimate definition of self. And even once I started doing what I love to do, which is awakening and teaching and expanding and channeling and all of that, I still felt lost because I was still waiting for this ultimate definition of self. And then I got deeper and I started to realize, oh my goodness, I'm not just 20. I'm not just Elizabeth April. I'm not just a human. I've been a monk and a shaman. I've been a male many times. I've been a female. I've been a child. I've been an elderly. I've been, I've been a slave. There's the light. It's flashing. I love it. I've been an alien. I've been on this planet. I've been off this planet. I've been everywhere in the universe. So who I am right now, with that light, all the light, it doesn't define me. So I want to just put the message out to all of you. Shit is getting real. You are all, the light's too much. You are all going through an ego death. You are all collapsing this old sense of self. And I want to encourage you every step of the way to keep doing that, to collapse this old attachment to any identity that you ever had. Oh, well, I'm a coffee drinker every morning. The second you let go of that identity, you start to open yourself up to, now that I'm no longer a coffee drinker and I don't define myself that way, then what does my body need today, this morning? You know what? Green tea. Haven't had green tea in 5 years. Great. Get back into it. Okay? So when we let go of these definitions, it's super important that we all start to realize and step into our power and say there is no ultimate definition of self. the more you let go of old identities, the more you have these ego deaths and ego collapses, the more we feel lost. I don't know who I am. And to be honest, there's another trap deeper down the rabbit hole that we all get ourselves into as well, which is the trap of the cosmic. All right, Elizabeth, I don't know who I am, so tell me my cosmic identity. Show me my cosmic family. Connect me to a cosmic past life or a cosmic future life. Fantastic, then what? What does that do for you right now? It's great, and I love going into that information. I love helping people understand themselves at a bigger level, because a lot of the time that information opens people up and it collapses their identity as a human. But then what? Thank you so much, Christopher, for that beautiful super chat. But then what? Then where does that lead you? It still leads you back into the present moment where you're still this human, right? So we can't attach ourselves to a cosmic identity or a spiritual identity or a physical human identity or a coffee identity or a job identity or any identity. And it seems really scary to be identity-less. I don't think that's a word. I'm going to make it up. It seems really scary to not have an identity. But I will promise all of you that it's liberating. And I will also just validate for all of you that you don't need to have a specific identity just because society wants to see that from you. Think about me in my position. I'm a psychic, but I'm not really a psychic. I also do mediumship. I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. I'm whatever all the clairs are, okay? I can do it all. I can't define myself. I can't pigeonhole myself that way because I'm not just that one thing. And I get very confused when there's, mediums or psychics or card readers who only ever do card reading their entire life, who only ever speak to ghosts and spirits their entire life. I'm like, if you can tap in, why don't you tap into everything? Don't you want to know it all, right? If you can be anyone, why wouldn't you want to be everyone? Don't you want to experience it all? I know I do. I know, when I'm, skydiving next week, I'm going to be a skydiver. I know when I'm drinking coffee in the next moment, I'm a coffee drinker. I know when I've got little Grayson, I am a little alien mom, I know that when I'm petting my dog, I'm a dog lover, right? But we don't have to have these ultimate senses of self. And unfortunately, we have these social media paradigms and programming that actually pigeonhole us further. Oh, but what's your Instagram account? What do you do? How do you, oh, well, I'm 27 and I'm bisexual and I really like makeup and I'm kind of into alien. No, fuck that, all of that. Stop pigeonholing yourself. We're waking up. And you don't have to confine yourself to one identity, which means that when you're in a social setting and you feel awkward, you don't revert back to, oh, but my job, yeah, let's talk about that because that's what makes me comfortable, right? You're actually missing out on all of this when you're only focusing on this. It's time to wake up. The vibration is getting higher. Shit's getting real here on this planet. You are being forced to take full responsibility over all of the great things in your life, which is easy to do, but you're also being forced to take full responsibility over all of the shitty things in your life as well. And honestly, you will have the light. Okay. You will have the most amount of breakthroughs when you start to take responsibility over all of the terrible things that happen in your life. And all of a sudden, those terrible things aren't so terrible anymore, And also, to be honest, guys, having perspective on things, there we go, having some perspective on things as well really helps. So, say for example, you're having a really rough day and you're like, oh, I just got fired from my job. I don't know how to pay my next paycheck or whatever. Think about someone who was born with a permanent disability and they've never been able to work in their entire lives. And they've been scraping by with these government checks that barely give them anything. Imagine that, right? That's a lot worse. Bring it even down, even more rudimentary. Imagine having to walk 5 miles every day to get fresh water. And it's not even that fresh. When we can literally, I don't recommend it, but we can literally drink the tap water, right? We have to start realizing that we are very privileged. And within that privilege, we need to get out of our own minds to think that something is wrong all the time. We have been programmed and taught since day one on this planet that there is always a problem to fix. It's not the case at all. There are a lot of problems in your life that are already fixed, like the shelter over your head right now, the internet that you're using right now to watch this video, the food in your fridge, the fresh water in your water bottle, the clothes on your back, the shoes on your feet. We gotta realize that not everyone on the planet has shoes to walk around with. There's a lot of problems that we are very privileged to not have to deal with. So we need to start waking up to some of that privilege and understand that we are here right now not having the survival mechanisms of all of those problems because we are meant to be the ones to awaken, to raise the vibrational frequency on this planet. Have you guys ever heard of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I think that's what it's called. I learned it back in psychology class, back in high school. So at the lower end of the pyramid, I know there's going to be, oh my God, Illuminati now, okay? At the lower end of the pyramid in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have food, water, shelter, right? Cool. So we have all three of those things, which means that we can raise our vibration into the Enlightenment era, not allowing any of these daily strains to get to us. We make a lot of issues much bigger than they are. Even financial issues. I know a lot of people are having financial collapses right now. It's meant to be. Like, I have wiped out my bank account more times than I can count just to rebuild it again because I needed to learn what that felt like. I was even doing my makeup today I'm like, why didn't I choose to be born into a very wealthy family? That was literally the thought that I had like half an hour ago. And the thought came back so clearly. I needed to be born into a very impoverished family. We weren't on the streets or anything, but our lights did get shut off quite a few times and those kind of things. I was born into that family so that I could connect better with the whole of humanity, you know? And so we have to go through these struggles so that we can understand the value of a dollar and not to have fear over it anymore. If you're scared of a spider, guess what's going to happen? A spider is going to enter into your life and you're going to be confronted with that fear. If you're scared of losing all your money, guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose it all, only to make it all back. Okay? So it's important that we understand that there's challenges in our life and we don't distract ourselves from the challenges, but it's also important to understand that you can rise above those challenges and not make them so weighted, not make them so heavy in your life, and not be such a victim within those challenges as well. Really rise above them and understand that you are much better than that you are here for a reason. And in order to do your purpose, you are meant to have everything set in motion for you. And that's what you're getting to. If you have any chinks in the chain of your life, whether that be a person, a belief system, an attachment, a physical material thing, a habit, whatever it may be, those things are being confronted and purged out of your life right now. We can't deny that the awakening is happening. It's not a phase. And the biggest thing and the most beautiful thing is it's not going away, and it's hitting every single soul on this entire planet. It's not just a few chosen ones who are waking up to elevate, the planetary vibration. Not that at all. Right? We are all waking up. We are all being confronted. We are all being forced to understand our own power. But before you understand your own power, you have to realize how often you have been convincing yourself you are powerless. Every day, all day, you convince yourself that you're powerless. And I see a couple trolls on this beautiful live video today. So I just wanted to say hi, trolls. Thank you so much for showing up. Not only showing up for me, because you're here, but showing up for yourself. deep down, there is something within you that drew you to this channel, that drew you to this video right now. This is pretty incredible information, and it's actually resonating with all of you at some level. And I wanted to say for the rest of you, if you get caught up in the fear of like, hey, don't say that to Elizabeth. Hey, thank you, April, for that beautiful super chat. If you get caught up within the trolls of like, don't say that to Elizabeth, she's actually a really nice girl, whatever it may be. Or you're like, you know, you're feeding into it like, hey, just get off the channel then. Don't say anything at all. You're feeding into that energy. The more you have a hate on for Trump, or the more you have a hate on for, you know, anyone who eats meat, you know, you're feeding into this paradigm of fear, right? So for me, the number one way that I can deal with all of these haters and people who may not understand is so much love and so much compassion. And honestly, it sucks that you feel like you have to come onto a live video and just rage out, you know? It sucks that you're in a place that you're hurting so much deep down within that you have to project that hate into someone else. And no matter what you say, it's not going to affect me because I have a really amazing life and I did a lot of work, like a lot of work to get to where I am right now. And this is the easiest way that I can live is to really just truly have compassion over everyone, especially the haters. Like, for example, back in February of this year, I got punched in the face, you know, by a local, and he stole my phone, and it was like a brawl. Like, it wasn't just like a boom, steal the phone. Like, I rugby tackled him on the beach. Like, he tackled me back. There was like a really wild altercation in the middle of the night in a very, you know, dark, jungled, you know, Panama beach. Anyway, and it took me about 30, maybe less than that. It took me maybe about 10, 15 minutes of feeling a lot of fear and feeling a lot of victim of like, I can't believe he could do that to me. I can't believe someone could do that to anyone. And then I realized that, wow, he must really be hurting to be in a place where he feels like he needs to lash out and steal and be very physically abusive. And that sucks. And it's okay that I encountered him because I cleared a lot of my own karma in doing so. And ultimately, it took me 15 minutes to turn around and to have the absolute most compassion for the guy who literally just tackled me and basically beat on me in the middle of a dark jungle in Panama. It took me 15 minutes to turn that around and say thank you. Thank you so much for entering into my life and for helping me out and clearing a bunch of karma in past lifetimes where I was abused by men, you know, and finding my inner power within that. And so I want to say to all the trolls, thank you. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for shedding light on the darkness. Thank you for showing up. I know that one day you're going to come back around. And it's really interesting because my beautiful assistant, Lauren, she always tells me, she's like, hey, wow, you had so many trolls today. And it's interesting because you know, they started off just talking about a couch or Hulu or whatever, you know, trying to really distract people, which is good because it's a great message and it's a great test for all of you watching, right? Not to get sucked into that. And then she's like, and then by the end of your hour-long video, you've got the same trolls saying, yeah, totally, yes, spot on, yeah, totally resonate with that. I'm like, yes, if I can transition a troll every video, you know, that's what I'm here to do, which is really cool. And then I also got a really awesome email this morning. And this guy's like, hey, I just wanted to like reach out and let you know that I've been watching your content for 2 years now. And it wasn't until a month ago when I had a huge awakening, a huge aha moment, a huge realization when I actually fully understood all of the content that you've been talking about for 2 years. He's like, I didn't really get it. A lot of the quantum stuff and the parallel dimensions and the, you know, and the vibrational frequency, he's like, I didn't really fully understand it, But after I had that awakening, he's like, I get it. He's like, I get you. I get all of it. I'm like, yes, which is so incredible, because I think a lot of people watch this content and say, she's pretty, but like, what the fuck is she talking about? Which is really beautiful, because you're still there. You know, you've still showed up, which is amazing. And there's this troll, I think his name is Todd Daniels or something, on Facebook. And he always comments on all my stuff saying, quantum what? This is gibberish. You're talking gibberish. This isn't scientific at all. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're just not there. You're just not at that conscious or awareness level to really fully understand what I'm talking about. But man, this is some deep shit that I disclose on this planet. Which is so incredible. So I really do think I'm kind of maybe a little bit before my time, and I'm actually surprised I don't get more hate on a daily basis, because I really think I talk about things that maybe most people don't really fully understand. But I do want to let you know that I'm releasing a video, and I think it's going to be on the 24th of October. So I am traveling for the next 3 weeks pretty much, and then I've got a conference right after that in Colorado for 11/11. And so I've pre-scheduled a bunch of videos to pop up on YouTube. And then I'll be doing more random and intuitive live videos just like this. But I have scheduled one video in particular. You guys, if you are interested in parallel realities, quantum dimensions, 5D versus 3D, if you're interested in how we can have parallel existences or parallel lifetimes, and how we can hop into parallel dimensions, and how the entire universe, if you're like ready for that and you want that, I definitely do not recommend everyone watching that video, because it might be like a little much or triggering or whatever if you're not at that place. But please watch out for it. I think it's called like quantum download into parallel realities or something crazy like that. It's about an hour and 10 minutes long. It is the first little bit is a little update on my life, so you can maybe skip the first 10 minutes, but I'm telling you guys, this is one of the deepest downloads. It's not even a download. It's like me, just a Q&A, answering questions about your top questions about parallel realities and 5D and different dimensions. It's incredible. It's so incredible that I took it from my exclusive membership page on Facebook, which is basically videos that I do every week for an $11 a month subscription. And that's all exclusive content. So I don't post that anywhere else. No one else can find that. But this video was so freaking mind-blowing that I'm like, people have to know. So please keep that in mind. I have a couple of other interviews that are coming out as well. And today I am actually off to Malibu to film a TV show episode for Gaia TV. And I'm going to be bringing through Hira and Khan in this really amazing with Ruben Langdon. It's called Interviews with Ed, and I'm going to be bringing through this little guy. So yeah, so definitely check that out. Interviews with Ed. It's on Gaia TV, and there I am, really bright again. And then my episode specifically will come out, I think, in 2020 sometime. So that I'm off to film that, and that's why I was gonna miss this live video in particular for today. So keep up the good vibes, everyone. Keep shining your light. Keep loving life. Keep switching up your perception and tuning in with your deeper self, because you fucking deserve to live the life that you've always wanted to live. But deep down, it comes down to the transition, the change, the awakening, the shift that you make within yourself. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and have a great rest of your week. And happy Thanksgiving for anyone who's Canadian. Bye.